Hey everyone. All right, so welcome to my channel. My name is Leslie. If you're watching, just thank you so much. Um, right now, I'll be reviewing my January read. It'll be, you'll probably see me wearing something different. It's going to be two different videos. I'm going to put it together and I'm going to talk about Burry My Heart at Chucky Cheese by Tiffany Midge. I finished this book so quickly in the month of January. There's so much humor and heaviness and just a really great observational mind in the author. Okay, so Bury My Heart at Chuck E. Cheese's by Tiffany Midge is a memoir, and it's a collection of not just essays. There are basically like two major essays at the beginning, and in between all that are like muses, poems, uh, observations is like the best word I could use to describe. So the first two essays are similar to like character studies. The first one is about a friend of hers that she just finds so hilarious that she just loves spending time with them and would like interact with them and then write down what they're saying because she thought they're so funny, and kind of within that character study other subjects come up. The second essay, which I felt was a really heavy reflection on family and points of view and how, yes, now more than ever, but kind of always, every single person is their own person and has their own perspectives, beliefs, political, and all sorts. So, what she's exploring in the second essay is more of a character study of her father, and it's just, I almost feel like, how do you, she's not really saying it, but I feel like what I got from it is, how do you reconcile that there's this person that's a part of you, but what they believe is like so much of the opposite of you, but you can't tear yourself away from the fact that that's a person that you love that's still your family member. So I'm just going to read you like one paragraph from that section because it's very indicative of her like observations. So I'm on page 40 and it says, my father chain smokes Chinese tobacco beneath an umbrella of palms. He he says the difference between Thailand and yogurt is that yogurt has culture. He enjoys being provocative. It used to rile me up, but not anymore. I just pretend that I'm vacationing with Hunter S. Thompson, and it all works out in the end. What he means by culture is high art, a Western aesthetic, not comic books and lounging Buddhas drenched in acres of gold, but relics from the Age of Enlightenment, Baroque artifacts, Grecian texts, the Renaissance. He is my learned father, my genetic sire, fingerprint of all my thoughts. Every breath's spectacle. He is an unabashed imperialist, Caliban's keeper, and Friday's Crusoe. He is a firm believer in a superior race, and nothing I could ever say or do will save him. So that just seems like it's a lot. That was two paragraphs, and it's a lot to chew on and to think about maybe how the author feels and how you feel, knowing that, you know. And how do you how do you move around in the world and navigate? You know, I don't know. It's that got to me. The other one that I will tell you right now, I marked it. I have so many bookmarks, little, but the ones I want to discuss with you, I put a giant marker so I would know. She has other things that she talks about in the book that are, I feel like, still fresh, things that I want to read about, and that she doesn't have to do a lot of inserting about. She doesn't really have to insert her opinion. That's what's great about her work. She really just has to write the observation, and then we kind of take it from there. But some of them towards the end are about our recent former president. She has him in a little, he's like right here in the US. And I just don't want to think about that. I'm sorry, I don't. But she does bring it up in some poems, and they're meant to be uh, written with humor and sarcasm. I mean, sarcasm was really like spilled all over this book, but I just feel like I'm so nauseated with him that I don't even want to. Do you want to say his name? Don't want to talk about him. So that's definitely in there. There's a chapter in here, and it's called, I'm not going to read anything from it. I'll just tell you that. It's called Red Like Me. I knew Rachel Dolezal back when she was indigenous. This is a true story. This is something that she actually went through. She actually met Rachel before she was exposed for pretending to be black. So, and I guess at some point she was pretending to be indigenous. That blew my mind. Can we see a documentary on that? I don't know. It's just a lot. So that was interesting to see that she wrote about that. And now I kind of wonder more about what the author thought when that whole other subject blew up. But then, clearly if she's writing about that, she's also branches off into other conversations around the same subject matter. So again, a lot of critical, heavy conversations, but she also handles it in a humorous way. And I almost feel like some things in life are just so absurd that all you have to do is write the absurdity of it, and she just is a master storyteller that knows how to do that, because it's not something that's easy. So I love this. Go pick it up. I don't really like to do the whole 1-star, 5-star thing. Either I love it or I don't, but I love this one. And I have another video talking about what this book's about more in like the summary on the back, but I'm not gonna go there. So go ahead, pick this up. It's worth a read. So right now I'm reviewing Revolutionary Women of Texas and Mexico. I really enjoyed this book. What can I say? When I originally posted that I was going to read this book, I thought it was just like profiles of different women, and actually it's so much more than that. It does cover a period of history, but they very much talk about what was going on at that time in Mexico and Texas to give the reader context. And although the book starts off with a profile, each chapter is written by a different author, and so the narratives are handled differently. And also there'll be a profile of one person, but in another chapter it's not about a specific person. It's actually talking about a particular profession that women took on, such as being companion soldiers to typically not just a relative, but maybe like a boyfriend or husband. And they would go along during the Revolutionary War and assist by bringing, making food, having supplies like chickens and other livestock, so that the soldiers could survive during the war. I'm trying to think about what else. I mean, I did really enjoy the book. I also did like, how the different narratives are handled. One profile will sound very academic. Another one will sound more like you're reading literary fiction. And there's another section that's not necessarily talking about a profession or a specific woman, but it's more about how women migrated from Mexico to Texas to create another life for them. This is like around the annexation of Texas. And so it's more of like there'll be a section about
the author themselves are reflecting on their own family member and all that they never really told them about what they did to make their lives happen generations later. Um, so I enjoyed that intimate portrait at times. So here's a good example. It'll say there's different sections. So this is sections 2, and I'll say women revolutionaries prior to 1910. So it will section it off chronologically. And there's a woman that is called La Malinche. And so she's considered like a controversial figure because she is a translator. She was a translator for when Spain came down and colonized. And I don't remember who it was, but she's considered like a controversial figure for Cortez because during his conquest, she translated, which enabled him to colonize and do all the brutality. And that some people feel like she aided this person, but there's another point of view that maybe she just didn't have a choice, so she did this or else her life would be taken. And there can only be assumptions made because we just don't know enough. There's just not enough proof in history why this woman made the choices that she did. So she's either revered or like hated, so she's a famous and then infamous character. She goes on, this translator goes on to have children with Cortez. And there's this section, and I believe this section of the book that talks about her, this is actually like an excerpt from another book that was put into here. So this is a good example of like the variety of type of writing you're gonna read, that this kind of reads a little more historical, but like almost historical fiction. And there's a section in here that I felt, it seems problematic, and I think it seems problematic to me because there's not enough proof to know the decisions she made and why. And so what goes on here is there's like this romantic scene between her and Cortez and like their first sexual encounter, but something about it was bothering me the whole time I was reading it. I'm not going to quote anything in that section, but it kept reminding me of, let's say, like, I don't even want to refer to anything else. I just felt like it was problematic with everything that we don't know. How could you romanticize their encounter when we don't even know if it was consensual? And, in that time in history, women had so few choices, and so I don't know, something about it really like bothered me as I was reading it. And the fact that someone would, yeah, it says 1500 and died around 1529. So something about that just really bothered me. It just didn't sit right. It didn't ring true. I just didn't understand the necessity in romanticizing their encounter or detailing it. Yeah, I don't want to say too much more because I feel like I'm just going to repeat myself, but that kind of really bothered me, and I don't know. I think that's the only negative thing I have to say about this particular book, but it's such a great read that goes behind or behind. It goes beyond just reading about history. You're not just reading something dry. We're reading about women that feel like they're really like fully formed in this book. And I just had I like grew such a pride for some of these women, all of them, but particularly the women that use their writing skills that taught themselves and taught others and use that as a form of rebellion. I mean, it's an incredible read. There's only one quote I'm going to give, and then that's it. I don't want to. This is by an artist by the name of Nahui Olin, and she was an artist that was used as a muse for a variety of different artists. So she posed a lot, you know, people would paint her. She was just an incredible figure in the art community. And there's this quote I really liked by her, and Olin writes, and it's on page 152. Under the death grip of human laws sleeps the world mass of women, in eternal silence, in deathly inertia. But underneath exists a dynamic force that accumulates from instant to instant, a tremendous power of rebellion that will activate their soul trapped in perpetual snows, in human laws of ferocious tyranny. So it's so nice that you get to read from all these different women and all their perspectives, and that we have the documentation to know what they were rebelling against, because a lot of these women use the written word as a form of rebellion. That's all I'll say. It's worth your time to pick it up at your local library, at your independent bookstore. And if you read with me, thank you so much. What else am I going to mention? I just learned about this. There's another YouTuber, another booktuber, Chanel Time. I follow her on Instagram. And she posted about the February Blackathon that's being held by, I want to say it's Books and Bowties, but I'm going to link their channel below. So yeah, they're doing a Blackathon, and there's different co-hosts that are putting together all these different variety of criteria. So if you would like to join in, please do. I already made my picks for February, but if I could add a couple more to fall in line with one of the co-hosts, I will definitely join in. So again, thank you. Please read with me. My other picks, I already mentioned it in another video, but I'm reading Rabbit by Patricia Williams. I'm reading They Can't Kill Us Until They Kill Us, and I'm reading a romance novel. I can't even think of the name right now, but there's another separate video that's like not even 4 minutes long. So I hope you read with me, okay? I'll talk to you later.